was a massive fan, of the Karate Kid movies, and growing up and watching them, back to back, and seeing, these classic movies again back in the 80s. The original one started out for me because I watched the first one in 1984, and the 80s for me, I know I kind of miss, a lot of the films, but we got to kind of move on. We got to kind of see, some of the newer ones. But I like to kind of go back and watch the original movie again from 1984, which was The Karate Kid. So the story kind of pans out like this. So Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, the guy that plays Daniel LaRusso in this movie, sets out to join, a new school. He's still learning karate, but he's basically learning from the book. So he joins his new school, meets Ali as well in the movie, and she's just broken up with Johnny as well. Johnny's trying to get back together with her again. She doesn't want to listen to him, and Daniel picks a fight with Johnny on the beach. So Daniel's trying to, defend Ali. Uh, Johnny picks up the radio, smashes it on the floor, and there's a big fight on the beach between Johnny and Daniel. After weeks and weeks trying to bully, Daniel and picking on him, Mr. Miyagi goes to the dojo to confront John Kreese, Sensei John Kreese, and he said, "You've got to leave this boy alone, to train." So they do that because they want to wait until the All Valley Championship tournament is out of the way, so they can, fight Daniel. They can get, their revenge on him as well, and they do. So Daniel all of a sudden beats about probably three people in the movie, and it comes down to the last fight with Daniel and Johnny as well. Um, and it was a great film, a great scene from this movie to see, Daniel win at the end using the crane kick, the crane technique that Miyagi taught him. And at the end of this film, Johnny goes up to him, hands him the trophy, and says, "You're right, LaRusso, good fight." So in part two, the sequel continues with the second movie, and this time it kind of goes back to the original one as well, part one. So you get to see the All Valley Championship tournament again with Daniel and Johnny, and you see him win the title, the trophy. But then it kind of moves on from there to the fight with Miyagi and Kreese outside the tournament. So Miyagi's standing there, Kreese is trying to pick a fight with him. So Miyagi's really smart because he moves out of the way and Kreese's hand goes through the window of the car. So after that, he finds out that his father in Japan is not very well. So he goes over and, he breaks down in tears, because obviously, his dad passed away in this movie. And also, the late Pat Morita died as well in 2005. This was a great movie. He played a good role. He was a great actor in all four of the Karate Kid movies. And in part three this time, Miyagi's still in the movie, of course. Great actor. But this time, Daniel meets Terry Silver. So Terry Silver also knew Sensei John Kreese, because Kreese also was in Vietnam. He was a soldier. So his business is not going very well at the moment at the Cobra Kai dojo. He's losing money. He's losing his business. So Terry Silver helps him out and says, "I will sort out, your business and your dojo and get some more students back to train with you." So he does that. But then Sensei Kreese as well, John Kreese as well, says to him, I think we should get, you know, a few more guys to join the Cobra Kai dojo. So he finds this new baddie, this new bad guy as well, Mike Barnes, with two other guys, and they go out, you know, and they're challenging, you know, Daniel LaRusso to defend his title. Daniel doesn't want no part of it, so he picks a fight with Daniel at Miyagi's bonsai tree place. Um, and for weeks and weeks, they asked him, you know, to sign the contract. So Daniel rips up the contract, and all of a sudden, he's training with Terry Silver. Something happens in this movie where they're plotting out, you know, to get revenge on Daniel. So he goes back, apologises to Mr. Miyagi, and Mr. Miyagi is willing to train Daniel. Um, and in the end scene of this movie, he's up against Mike Barnes. Mike Barnes is basically defeating Daniel. So he doesn't use the crane technique, but he uses kata, which is also a form of karate. He uses that in this movie um, to counter, you know, Mike Barnes, and he wins. He retains the title. So Daniel was really pleased about that. Right, on to our 2010 Karate Kid movie with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. This one for me was okay. It wasn't a patch on the original movies, the Karate Kid Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. But what I did like doing was going back and watching all these movies again. Right, so last Thursday I watched a brand new trailer on YouTube. And you wouldn't believe this. Now, I wouldn't believe it at first because I was like, no way. They're actually doing a TV series on YouTube Red, Cobra Kai. What does this mean for the Karate Kid, you know, series? Are they going to be bringing back some original characters from the very first movies and stuff? The Karate Kid Part 1, Karate Kid Part 2 and Karate Kid Part 3. And of course they were. They were going to bring back Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. So this time, Daniel LaRusso's moved back to Encino, I think it's called. And he's basically, you know, in bits at the moment. You know, his mentor, Mr. Miyagi, he's not with him. He's passed away. So Daniel Russo is going to do everything by himself. So he trains another student so that Daniel can teach him karate. Johnny Lawrence opens up the Cobra Kai dojo again. He trains another guy, and it's not over between him and Johnny. I thought they would have, you know, sorted out, you know, their differences, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the crane technique. Maybe it's because, you know, Daniel stole his girlfriend. I don't know. But all we know is that it's going to be on YouTube Red, and of course on any service, you know, you've got to pay to watch it. It's going to run for 10 episodes. I'm really excited about it. I don't know if you're excited, but for any Karate Kid fan, you know, who has watched all of these movies, I'm really excited about this show and this series. I think it's going to be fantastic. Who knows? We might see a few familiar characters coming back. Sensei John Kreese, you know, Terry Silver, you know, some of the other characters as well. It'd be fantastic to bring them back and bring them back in their main roles again in the series. I'm really up for watching this show. I think it's going to be great. So again, that is my review. This is Chriswiiu2013. This video is quite a bit long today, so that is why I wanted to kind of get it out of the way. But again, we're going to kind of end this video right now. I'm going to play some FIFA 17 at the moment on my PlayStation 4, and I'll see you again in my other live streams. Bye.